Hi, I'm Dianne Killen.
And I'm Cara, Lynn.
And we're the hosts of an exciting new show called Horse Club for Women.
In all the world, there's no one else like me. I'm still the girl who reaches for her dreams, and I believe in me, yeah.
On today's show, we'll be talking to clinician and horse trainer Ken McNabb. His popular show, Discovering the Horseman Within, is seen weekly on RFD TV.
Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here. I'm excited about it.
It's great to have a cowboy on the show, and I have to ask you the first thing, why isn't it Discover the Horsewoman Within?
Well, actually, you know, we deeply considered that, but my wife was afraid that with some of the other cowboy movies that came out about the same time as our TV show, that just really wouldn't be real good.
Okay, well, I guess that's one that your wife would probably be more comfortable in teaching you. Okay.
That's right.
So tell us how you got started.
You know, horses are something I've done my whole life, and people are something that I've been around my whole life. My dad ran a boarding school for troubled kids, and so I've always been around a lot of people, and I've always had the desire to help people. And so actually when I was 15 years old, I attended a clinic, and when I saw what could be done for horses and people at the same time, I called my dad that night and I said, I know what I want to do the rest of my life.
Can I ask you who that clinician was? Is it someone we would know?
You bet, absolutely. That was John Lyons.
Yeah,
He's been around a long time.
So he was a
spent a
big
long time.
influence on you then.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, a couple of weeks ago, somebody asked me about that, and I told them the word mentor is not even a strong enough word. You know, you really help
Almost like
shape
another
and
father.
form what I do. Absolutely, yeah, very much like another dad.
Well, at 15, if that came to you and made that big of a impact on you at that clinic, that's what you knew you wanted to do, you know, I can understand the connection there.
What was it about him that you saw that connected with you? What do you think it was?
I hate to say this particularly on film, but it really wasn't so much at that point about John as much as it was about what he could do with people and horses.
Possibilities.
Right.
And in honesty, you know, originally what attracted me to him was my desire to learn to improve my horsemanship, and I liked what he did with his horses, and so that took me there. Also, I liked his stands and his moral values, and so that's kind of what took me there. But then what built from there, you know, in getting to know the man himself is what built the friendship that's lasted the rest of my life.
Well, let's back up a little bit. When did horses come into your life? Did you ride when you were younger?
Well, I tell people, it's a true story. My parents, when I was 10 days old, took me on a 10-day pack trip into the mountains.
10 days old?
Absolutely.
God
by the
bless
time-
your mother.
Little
God
pony,
bless your
little
mother.
mini pony?
What happened, and my mom carried me the whole time. What happened was the doctors were off on when I was to be born. They thought I was to be born in late June, early July. I was born August 1st. And my dad had planned a pack trip for a whole bunch of family
And
friends.
priorities.
You got it. It's a horse show for women. I'm not going to argue.
I'm seeing the conversation. Honey,
Pack
we're
trip,
going.
Exactly.
baby. Pack trip,
And
baby.
I got my fishing license, I'm sorry. Come on.
Exactly. And my mom is a really resilient lady. I mean, she just...
Apparently, yes.
She has always told us as kids growing up, you know, the most important thing is to learn to roll with the punches and take what comes. And so by the time I was 20 days old, I'd spent half my life on a horse.
That is great.
Great story. Now, so you continued in your riding career after that?
Yeah, absolutely. We never were without horses. As I said, my dad and mom run a boarding school for troubled kids, and the horses were a big part of the program.
I'm sure.
And so, very
They
young.
ride and work with the kid.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so you were part of that, right?
Exactly. And you know, a lot of kids are going to mess horses up. And so my dad had a program that worked real good. When my sister and I were still pretty young, he started taking our horses and giving them to the kids and replacing ours with what was the most messed up at the time. And
Nice.
so, you know, because he needed kids to fix kid horses. If you
Sure.
don't, an adult gets on a kid horse and fixes it, you give it back to the kid, you've got the same problem.
But at that time, you were just kind of doing what was intuitive, what you thought was right. I mean, obviously, you didn't have any like formal training like what maybe
That's
we
right.
might receive from you. So you
There
didn't
were
really
no
have
Ken
that.
McNabbs back then.
No, that's right.
Right.
There were,
So did you find you struggled, or did you find you had a pretty good idea of how to work with those horses?
well, you know, a lot of things came naturally. My sister actually is a phenomenal horsewoman at the time. She doesn't even ride today. She's on to other things, but she taught me a lot, you know, and She just picked it up very naturally.
He learned from a woman. I just want to point that out.
Well, I thought now would be a good time to confess to it. So, but no, you know, she taught me a lot. A lot we picked up on our own. My dad was real good about giving us an idea and then getting out of the way.
Okay.
And so, you know, I look back at some of the things we did as kids, and I'm not really in a hurry to let my kids do all the things that we did as kids, but we learned a lot from it. We really did, and it was a great experience.
That's fabulous.
So let's move on to now you have your own television show, which I think your dad does a lot of the production on.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, is that something he knew how to do and he said, oh, Ken, I'm going to do your show for you? Or did he have to learn how to do that?
Well, you know, you never know what twists and turns life road takes you on. My dad, in the 60s, had a contract filming travelogue films. And he filmed all over the country, went around and filmed travelogue films and then showed them 100 nights a year. He was contracted to show these films in different towns. So he had a real basic knowledge of filming and editing and telling a story, putting a storyline together, right. He was absolutely computer ignorant the day we started. You know, he was back there using 16mm film and literally cutting it with scissors and taping it together.
You talk about rolling with the punches. That's where that learning curve is huge.
Yes.
But it sounds like your family, that's just part of your...
Well, I bet he loves it now, though.
Oh, he does.
It's a lot easier than cutting and splicing.
How is it taking direction from Dad?
You know, we work really well together. We do. There's times, there's definitely times, you know, there's been times when I had my microphone on and didn't know I had it on, and I'm like, doggone it, you know, and he's like, did you really mean that? You know, and he's been real good about taking it, you know, when I say something, because I get a little frustrated. As a trainer, I'm in the middle of saying something. And you know, you guys know how it is, well, stop, cut, you know, we got to do. My mind doesn't work that way, and my horse doesn't work that way. We're in the middle of this right now. I want to deal with it right now. And so I get a little, you know, I'll be a little frustrated. And I've had to, for me, I've had to learn a lot and realize, hey, all of these people that are here, they're here helping me. So don't take your frustration out on them.
We'll see you next time on Horse Club for Women.